guys who kind of knew that number, and I would be a guy who you could come to me and say, hey, remember that game in 2002 against the Colts, and I'd be, yeah, oh, exactly, this happened and that happened, and no, all that stuff's out of my head at this point. It's I'm just flying by the seat of my pants in terms of my memory these days.
All right, I'm right there with you, man. But I've had a couple of blows to the head.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Blaine brought this guy up, so I'll just ask you. We'll have random Titans player recognition with David Boclair here. What do you remember about the brief time of Dave Craig,
2 years,
Titans quarterback at age 39 and 40?
That was one of those things. I hadn't done much with the NFL that time, and I remember that was really interesting to me because the whole point of Dave Craig being here was that he was as old as he was and had played as much football as he was, and the idea was that Steve McNair was going to get every practice rep or just about every practice rep with the offense, and the thinking was Dave Craig didn't need to practice. He'd seen it all, he'd done it all, and this was going to be a way to get McNair more work than he would have gotten otherwise, or with a lot of other teams, and I think Dave Craig was very comfortable with that arrangement. He always seemed like he was ready to go, and I don't, it's funny, I don't recall him ever getting any significant playing time. McNair's injury problems didn't start until 99 with the back when Neil O'Donnell was the backup at that point. But I remember talking to Dave Craig a couple times, and he always looked, he gave you the sense that, yeah, they need me, I'll be ready, no worries.
David, I hate to burst your bubble, but that sounded like one of those guys who just randomly remembers a lot of stuff. I mean, that was very much that guy delivery on that story there.
Well, good. Yeah, maybe there's hope for me yet then.
David Boclair joins us on Blaine and Mickey is at Boclair Sports, SI.com, covering the Titans.
Well, I guess let's start off with the injuries here. I don't know if you've seen who's practiced or not today, but naturally, A.J. Brown didn't practice yesterday. I don't know if it was a huge concern, but it's still concerning that he didn't practice. No games played yet in the regular season's right here. So did he practice, or are you concerned with his health at this point in time?
Yeah, I didn't stay out there for the open period
of
practice today, Nick or Blaine, so I can't say. But to your point, it's concerning that he didn't practice, given that he didn't play in any of the preseason games. He missed a bunch of practice time late in training camp and in the preseason. I mean, clearly something's going on. It's not a concern when you consider that he was on the injury report every single week of the 2020 season, and he missed a lot of practices, including a couple weeks where he didn't practice at all. I think the most common development was he practiced only on Thursday or Friday. They sort of picked one of those 2 days with him, and we saw the way he produced last year. So I think there's reason to worry, sort of big picture, in terms of, is this a guy who's going to break down by the time he's 25, 26 years old in this league? But short term, we've seen him get on the field and play great despite being on the injury report all week. So I wouldn't worry too much about this Sunday in particular.
Man, well, what I am worried about is we don't know who actually is going to be the starting offensive tackle on one end, and J.J. Watt and Jones, and they got some other guys that are pretty good pass rushers, So what are your thoughts on who do you think will play tackle, or will it be done by committee? And what do you think the game plan will be to kind of slow these guys down?
Yeah, I don't think the by committee approach is likely or
okay.
What's going to happen. It was clear to me that at the start of the offseason, the plan was for Kendall Lamb to get that job, and then some things happened along the way, and with Lamb got hurt, and with Lawan being out early in training camp, and some other people behind him who got hurt. Lamb ended up practicing a bunch more at left tackle than I think a lot of people planned on, and it's sort of like David Quesenberry's been the guy who's sort of been there at right tackle more than anybody throughout training camp in the preseason. So my guess is that it'll be Quesenberry, but he's going to have to show that he can hang on to that job because Kendall Lamb is healthy and practicing now, and is very much a viable option there. At some point, of course, the coaches are going to want to transition to Dylan Radins there long term. I don't imagine he's the answer right now, but I think just from a continuity standpoint, and to your point, Blaine, given what they're going to go up against this week, communication and all that, it probably makes the most sense to start with Quesenberry, just because he's put in the time there this off season and worked alongside Nate Davis some when Davis has been in there too.
Man, we're on with David Boclair with Sports Illustrated, and I guess one more thing for me, and that is, they redid Julio Jones's contract, and now they have a lot of space. What is it, $15 million or so of salary cap space? Do you think they're going to redo someone else or leaving cushion for signing someone maybe down the road? What were your thoughts when you saw that?
Yeah, I think that was mostly just to create some sort of flexibility to go through the season. I mean, you look at the number of players that this team had to use last year. You've got the expanded practice squad and the fact that you can get some exemptions in terms of experienced players on there. But experienced players cost a little bit more money too when you get them onto the active roster then. So I think we've seen since John Robinson has been here that he doesn't just sort of take whatever happens with the roster and says, okay, we're going to roll with it. I mean, he reacts to every injury, to every sort of player development. He wants to look at guys for a week or two on the roster or on the practice squad. So I think he just felt like he needed to have more money available to him this season in the event that something went wrong. But we free up $11 million with what they did with Julio. That's a big number for this time of year. So I don't know that they're going to have to do it with anybody else, unless maybe they're looking to extend somebody and they're going to need some extra money for a signing bonus right now.
All righty, we're on with David Boclair with Sports Illustrated. Bokey.
David, so last year, Kevin Byard, some of the other guys who who always will stand up and speak after a game and put the microphone in their face and answer questions from us knuckleheads in the press. We heard, communication issues. Well, there's communication issues. Yeah, we had communication issues. That seemed to be every game, and they never seemed to get fixed. Okay, so Shane Bowen spoke today, and I thought, I'm going to ask David this because we heard from Bowen again. So Shane Bowen is the DC. He is being called the DC. I don't think there's any question now he is calling plays as the DC. Do you think Shane Bowen, with all these DC titles and actual, everything that goes, the rights and privileges that go with that title, will that clear up the communication issues?
I do. I think we've seen it throughout camp. You start with Shane Bowen, his body language, his delivery when he talks to the press, everything he's more confident talking about the defense. Whatever the setup was, and Mike Vrabel tried to say at the end of the year, well, Shane was the coordinator. That's how it worked. Baloney. That's not how it worked. It was very clear last year that Shane Bowen was concerned with speaking out of school, even though he met with the media every single week as sort of the voice of the defense. That's not the case this year. He answers questions much more directly and much more forthrightly, and you can see he's not thinking, well, should I say this or shouldn't I say this? I mean, he just so I think right there that speaks volumes. And then you get down to the players. It's not like, okay, when Vrabel's in the meetings we're hearing this, or when Bowen's in the meetings we're hearing this or something like that. I think it's clear that they they've got one voice, they've got one directive. Whether it works or not remains to be seen. But everybody seems much more comfortable and much more relaxed in terms of talking about what their expectations are for themselves and for each other. And the results that we've seen in training camp in the preseason are certainly promising.
Absolutely. And hearing you say that, if you're trying to listen to one guy out of one ear and listen to somebody else out the other ear, that could lead to some real indecision even on the field. And some guys, remember after last season and during last season, we're like, gosh, some of these guys seem to be taking a step back when we thought they'd take a step forward. Maybe this is the year that some of those guys get back to playing at the level we had seen before.
Yeah, I think it hasn't been said enough or even at all that Mike Vrabel deserves some credit for this move too, because things were terrible with the defense last year, and it would have been easy to say, I think it was a hard thing to sell promoting Shane Bowen to that role. We'll put it that way, but I think Vrabel, he had one season as a defensive coordinator in Houston, and you almost get the sense that he, when Dean Pease left, he sort of wanted to validate himself in his own mind in some way is, okay, I got this job because I am a capable and a good coordinator. So he wanted to be more involved in the defense last year than he had been. And, that didn't work out. The fact that he could step back and say, you know what, as the head coach, this is nonsense. This didn't work out. I need to be the head coach. I need to have a defensive coordinator. We're going to have our staff structured correctly. Let's do this. That's my impression on sort of what went into all of this, and good for Mike Vrabel for realizing that, because I don't know that a lot of head coaches would have been able to do that.
David Boclair, our guest at Boclair Sports, covers the Titans for Sports Illustrated.
Well, Bokey, just to get clarity on what you just talked about there, when he was the DC and as Vrabel at the Texans, what was their ranking, and what were the Titans ranking last year? Because you said basically that he was the one making the calls. So
Yeah,
I think he had no choice to go to be. To actually say.
In fairness to his year in Houston, J.J. Watt missed most of that year, and then Whitney Merciless got hurt. They had bad problems, and I'll tell you this too, Blaine. At about midway through last year, when the third down problems were obvious, and this was clearly a team that was bad on third down. I went back and I thought, well, maybe this is a Vrabel thing. And I went back and compared to Houston in 2017. And actually one thing that defense did really well in Houston all year long was play on third down. So I couldn't attribute that to Vrabel. But I think it goes back to just the, everybody likes to everybody, you know this well, Blaine. You don't want to overthink this. In fact, I remember Jerry Gray when he was the secondary coach. Here we go back in time again. But I remember this, particularly with Samari Rolle in his early years. He would tell Samari, look, if you see this, it's going to be A or B. Don't think about anything else. Just worry. And players want that. Yes, you have to think, but you don't want too much to think about. And I think it's just a lot easier and a lot clearer when there's just one voice delivering the message every day.
No doubt about it. We're on with David Boclair with Sports Illustrated. And I guess for me, I'm interested to see with these great receivers that Arizona Cardinals have, are the Titans going to just say play sides, or are they going to, with their cornerbacks, or are they going to match up on the outside? What do you think their process and what they're thinking to attack this air raid?
That's a really good question, and actually it came up with Shane Bowen today, and Shane said he feels like that they are more versatile in the secondary this year, where they can say, okay, this guy matches up well with this guy, so let's put him there, and this guy matches up well with this other guy, and his point being was that you want to give guys every opportunity to do the things that they do well, and you look at Jack Rabbit Jenkins, and he's a different guy than Christian Fulton, and Caleb Farley is different than both of those guys, and Elijah Molden is a different guy altogether. I think with this group, it probably makes sense for them to be much more of a matchup style defense rather than just, this is our guy on the left, this is our guy on the right, and this is our guy in the slot. Let's go.
Man. Well, with David Boclair with Sports Illustrated, and since you brought up some of these rookies, just for this first game, what rookie you think will contribute the most in this first game?
Yeah, I
Rookie
don't think
draft
there's any
pick.
question that it's Elijah Molden. I mean, he got all sorts of playing time in the preseason. They did all sorts of things with him. We saw him in the slot. You saw him do some hybrid safety type stuff. You saw him blitz. You saw him in coverage. Caleb Farley is still a work in progress. Dylan Radens is going to be a backup. Monty Rice is going to be a backup. Brady Breeze and Ray is on IR or the COVID list at this point. Racy McMath probably won't be in uniform Sunday, or if he is, it'll be as a gunner on the punt team. Molden's the guy for coming right out of the gate who's gonna lead this rookie class and have to make some big plays and contribute quite a bit, I would think, to the defense.
And lastly, I know you did an article about the Ring of Honor when they moved it. I kind of tell the fans where they moved it and what you can expect, what you'll see about the Ring of Honor at the stadium.
Yeah, it was that was interesting. That came up yesterday, and apparently Amy Adams Strunk has been dissatisfied, and I think anybody who has seen those names at the top of the stadium, it sort of felt kind of like meh. And so they said they have moved them down to the top of the lower bowl for this season, but that they eventually want to turn it into a more of an interactive experience where it's maybe a walk of fame type thing, or a New York Yankees Memorial Park where the fans can actually not only see the names but see the achievements of these players and these coaches and these executives. And it was mentioned that it'll be an opportunity too for the fans in Tennessee to maybe get to know some of the Houston Oilers greats better, which I think is probably a good idea. I certainly, in my coverage, I distinguished between sort of 1999 to now and pre-1999, and that probably is going to be the case forever. But I do think this team was and is the Houston Oilers still in a lot of ways, and I think it's important for people to kind of know who Ken Houston was and who Elvin Bethea was and exactly what Earl Campbell did, and so on and so on, and that'll I'll be curious to watch how that evolves now over the next couple of years.
Cool.
David, great stuff. People can follow you on Twitter at Boclair Sports, or again with Sports Illustrated covering the Tennessee Titans. Thank you, man. We'll see you soon.
Always a pleasure, boys. Have a good day.
Thanks,
Yes, sir. We got into this a little bit. Where are the rookies on the depth chart? We'll tell you where all the rookies are on the depth chart. And let's put it like this. None of them are starters. Where are they, though? Next, Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
From
preseason, regular season, and the playoffs, we got you covered. Oh, wow. The Titan Station, 104.5 The Zone.
Your tailgates. The NFL is back. Get in on all the action before opening night kicks off with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And with the NFL returning, DraftKings is giving all customers the opportunity to participate in this year's no-brainer offer. DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to Tampa Bay plus 73 for all customers. That means you can still cash in as long as the reigning champs don't lose by 75 points against Dallas. And if you haven't tried DraftKings yet, don't miss out. DraftKings is giving new customers $200 in free bets instantly when they bet $1 or more on any football game. And all you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX. New customers bet $1 on any football game to receive $200 in free bets instantly with promo code WGFX. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee to bet. Free bet promotions for new customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Max wager limits apply. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Hey guys, Brent here. Did you hear? The Nashville Sounds baseball season has been extended through September 26th, which means there's still plenty of time to catch a game from the patio at Third and Home. The newest sports bar in Germantown, the patio at Third and Home overlooks the Nashville Sounds ballpark, and you can literally see the whole
is about 5.75. I think that's 5.75 was the sweet spot. Well, guess what? Rates are nowhere near there. They are historically low right now. So if you've been on the fence about buying, well, you're not going to beat these rates. History says that. You won't beat these. You can buy more house when your rate is lower. Maybe you've got equity in the home you live in, and if you live in Middle Tennessee, there's a real good chance of that. You can put that equity to work for you with a home loan expert. They can show you how to pay off credit card debt or medical bills, or maybe COVID hit your family hard and you got debts now. That equity in your home can help with all that. Maybe you just want to make your current house your dream house. Well, guess what? You can use the equity to do that. No matter what you need to do with your money, if it's going into your home or buying a home, there's only one place to go, thehomeloanexpert.com. Ryan Kelly, the Home Loan Expert, is a Tennessee residential mortgage licensee.
Brent Doherty here. Thinking about taking a big summer road trip? Before you put your family in the car, make sure
and I looked it up again because I thought, that sure doesn't sound right. Do you remember me telling you how many games they got from the rookie class total? And I know they were injured.
Last year?
Yeah, how many games the whole class played. And I know Panda, and I know people were injured. The whole class.
The whole class. Oh, tell me the players first. I know Chris Jackson. That kind of helps me out. Who else was in the class?
Panda, Darrington Evans.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I'm going to go 5. That's probably way off.
They played 33 games as a class.
Oh, okay. Well, I was taking each game. If each of them played one game, that counts as the same.
Oh, no. So, like, if I played one and you played one, then that's 2. If I played 3 and you played.
That's 1.
So, yeah, as a class.
Yeah,
so just think, if everybody had played 16, if 2 guys had played 16, that would have been 32.
Chris Jackson played early on.
He played the most.
Bolton came back at the end. He was playing early and at the end. And I'm trying to think who else contributed other than those guys. I don't, Panda played 3 plays. No, I mean 4. Evans was injured. He played at the end of the season, showed some juice. Darrington Evans.
Here you go.
Yeah, so that was the only ones I can recall. Maybe I'm missing the boat. Who else played?
Isaiah Wilson.
No.
He played 1 game.
4 plays, remember?
Christian Fulton played 6 games.
Yeah, that's about right. In the beginning and the end.
Darrington Evans played 5.
3 at the end. He looked good.
Murchison played 10.
Oh, he did? Oh.
He played 10. Cole McDonald, remember that? Like, he got to town, and they were like, oh, no.
Oh, they made a quick mistake and cut him within literally like 2 weeks of camp.
Keep the shorts, just so, like, you can tell your family you were a Titan for a week. That was a quarterback out of Hawaii with the hitch in his throwing motion. He was fun to watch in college, but he was gone. Like, as soon as he got here,
Somebody made a boo-boo.
They boo-booed. He was a 7th-round pick. And then Chris Jackson, he was the last pick of the class. He was 243. He played 11 games.
Yeah, he played them. Yeah, he played. I remember.
So I had written this down, and it's just something I thought, okay, we'll get to it when we get to it, but this is as good a time as any because we're mentioning the draft picks, and we can even finish this up a little bit in the first segment of the next hour. So draft picks this year, pick number 1, Caleb Farley. We have no idea right now what his role is. And I had written down, when will he be ready? We don't know. Dylan Radins, you got 3 journeymen competing for right tackle, like 3 guys who are pros and doing their best, but have never really stuck as a starter anywhere. He's not even in the fight with those 3 guys to start at right tackle. Monty Rice, I would guess, is the depth chart, and I said I'd tell you where they are on the depth chart.
Yeah, so he's the backup behind Rashaan Evans.
Dylan Radins and Monty Rice are listed as second team on the depth chart. Everybody else is listed as third team. So Des Fitzpatrick got cut. He's on the practice squad. Rashad Weaver, who I would imagine has to be a rotational guy.
Yep.
He's third on the depth chart. They list him behind Ola Adaney, who's a journeyman who had a nice camp. Racy McMath is actually on the roster right now. And if he's active, I think David Boclair had even said this, he would be a punt gunner, special teams guy. I mean, no snaps at wide receiver, I wouldn't think. And then last guy is Brady Breeze, who it might have actually be on both. Actually, they took him off IR to put him on the COVID list. So he was on – I had to look this up before the show. He was on both. He went from the IR to COVID. So, obviously, he not
2 guys, I don't recall if I missed them, but you said they were 13. Well, Elijah Molden is 13 on the list, but he's going to probably be the first nickel, if not him and Jackson. So, he 1/2. I don't know where he's at. And then Fitzpatrick, the receiver, is, practice guy. So, he got a lot of contributions here besides.
Well, he got cut. I was saving Elijah Molden for the last. Yeah. Now, it's between him and Chris Jackson for who gets the most spots.
Missed practice with a hammy, yesterday, and I think he practiced, or 2 days ago, and then he practiced yesterday, and I'm assuming today. So it's not sure who will be the starter, but that may open the window for Molden, who probably, since he went higher in the draft, I would say that he's probably a little more talented. But he's been kind of, let's say, I don't know what the injuries are. I want to say they're muscular because he comes back, looks really good. Then he's back out. Then he's back in. So I think it's something, there that they can manage. So, Chris Jackson got to be ready to go if Molden is actually the starter. And he plays hard and aggressive. So a smaller guy, I don't know what the issue is, but it's probably something that he kind of can control. But you never know. It could flare up, whatever it is. because he's missed some time even after he played really well. Then he missed a couple days of practice after they played Tampa Bay, and then yeah. But he, not a lot of contributions. What you're getting at
2 years straight.
2 years, and I was assuming that they would have a lot. So yeah.
And I know it's tough for a rookie to start in the league, so it's not like I expect to see 5 rookies that unless you're just a really young team and you won 2 games last year and you just told the rookies you got to start. This is a team that can contend for the Super Bowl, but they're not going to get a whole lot out of the gate, like you said, other than Molden, who they stand a chance to get if he's healthy.
Well, and now to be honest, typically your first or second rounder, depending on what your depth is, those guys contribute the most. And sometimes the third rounder, he gets in the mix. Usually that guy's a special teamer who's contributing maybe, let's use cornerback. Maybe he's the dime guy. That's kind of what I was, but I wasn't a third round pick,
Or Molden, who's a nickel guy, third round pick.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. So, Raden's not actually even in the conversation at tackle is a little disappointing because there was an open window, and by the way, they signed some veteran free agent guys who were on 1-year deals.
Yep.
So they're not like I'm gonna be the guy.
Right.
I know I'm the guy. So now they're battling. Then some other guys got injured, and he could have been leaning, as Boclair said, Vrabel to Lamb, who then got injured his elbow. And so out of default, if you want to call it that, he's right place, right time, and stayed healthy. Quisenberry is going to probably give it a go, and he thinks that it's not going to be rotational. So I'm going to say good luck to him against Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. Yeah. So are you going to be helping him out? So, yeah, not a lot of contribution in the draft. It's a little disappointing. But maybe down the road, because we could talk about Monty Rice. Well, both the middle linebackers will be free agents after this year. They don't get extensions. So he could go right from not playing as a starter, because I'm sure he's going to be a special teamer being a linebacker, to actually starting in 1 year. So to me, your first 3-round guys should be contributing a lot, especially on special teams. And then in certain packages, they should be playing, depending on what position. Because you drafted them for a reason. Obviously, you think either you're playing the game of we need you now or we'll need you the next year as a starter. An offensive lineman is kind of tough. You either going to start or it's not a rotational deal. So next year, Raden's probably contributing at the maybe guard. I don't know. It looks like he's going to be a guard. That's kind of where they put him.
Yeah.
Ew, that's kind of interesting. So that means I'm just going to make a bold prediction. That means Saffo won't be here next year. Yeah, Nate Davis is a youngster. He is not going nowhere.
Yeah, especially because you ain't paying him anything.
See how the economics and just where you play then tells you it dictates what's going to happen next year. If not, then they got a guy sitting there on a bench again 2 years in a row that you took pretty high. So, but hey, it happens sometimes when you have a really good team. Hey, we could say this: Bolton didn't do a lot last year. I think in his mind probably say a little disappointing along the way, but he did get injured, and now he's starting and he looks the part and he looks a lot better. I was actually the 2 days I went out there and watched him practice in training camp. I really like what I saw. I was interested if Farley can get back. So you drafted Farley knowing it's going to be a process and that he's not going to contribute right away. If you don't want to, you want to make sure he's, err on the side of caution with back injury, and you want him long term because he's a great talent and he has to, get up to speed. He hasn't practiced in a couple years, so maybe halfway through the season, he's contributing a lot. Or where there's an opening, if someone's injured, he's waiting for his shot. So potentially these guys can all contribute in more than what this depth chart says.
We'll pick this up on the other side. I know Greg is on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. He wants to weigh in. You can too, 615-737-1045. It's Blaine and Mickey.
The 3HL, cheerleading all SEC teams.
That's how all Auburn people know how to spell Auburn. A-U-B-U-R-N.
It's the dumbest cheer I've ever heard. S-L-A-Y. I mean, you can do that with anything.
Don't make me take you out.
Get 'em, Babs. I mean, you can do that for anything, Babs.
It's not the right intonation. It's not the right number of letters. It doesn't have the tradition.
F-O-O-T.
S-U-C-K-I-T. Jerk.
Today, starting at 3 on 104.5 The Zone.
You know who currently has access to all the single game tickets for all of the Nashville Predators home games this year. Season ticket, citizens. That's right. Nashville Predators October games are actually on sale right now to all of the general public. Future months will go on sale in the coming weeks. But here's the thing. If you're ready for a fun night out, an awesome night out, you can't beat a night out in Smashville with the Preds. Oh, my gosh. Tickets on sale exclusively. Ticketmaster.com. There's 6 home games scheduled during the month of October alone. Think about that. 6 fun night outs with you, with the family, with your crew. Doesn't matter. Maybe you just want to go by yourself and yell with 17,000 plus crazy Predators fans. Well, it's all there for you because the Preds can't wait to fill up Bridgestone Arena. Actually, here's the number, 17,159 of the best fans in sports, and they want to see you all in Bridgestone Arena all throughout Predators season this year. Again, single game tickets available in multiple price levels, subject to availability by game and by price level. You want more information? Get your Predators tickets today. NashvillePredators.com/tickets.
This is Jim Rome with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. Old Trapper, what's your beef? It's finally here, the first game of the NFL season, Cowboys v. Bucks. I mean, fact is, it is pretty remarkable to see a defending Super
position. So he's kind of, not really, expendable yet because they haven't really needed him.
Right.
And he's got some, I'm going to say muscle injuries. It was last year at the beginning. And then, which was, there was no training camp. Yep. So that was tough for a youngster to come in. And then that could have happened to anybody. But this year, nobody touched him. And he ran, and I was expecting big things from him because he's got some juice to him now. Yep. He's got some juice. At the end of last season, he's got some. So I think that's why he's on the team. And, running backs are expendable, but you also can get another one to replace him until he comes around. Watch this. Halfway through the season, they're probably going to need him. He's going to be back healthy, and then you're going to be saying, man, I'm sure glad we got Darrington Evans.
If it's stretched into a third season, though, then you go.
Yeah.
Then you got
exactly.
Hey, man, we got.
I think you're right on it right there. GM Mickey.
Well, the M stands for Mickey and GM. It also stands for Mike in Murfreesboro, who joins us next on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Hello, Mike.
Hey, what's up, man?
Good.
Tell us.
Yeah, so a few points. First of all, I got a little money on Dallas tonight because they're such a underdog. I mean, I think it's just crazy that that Tampa Bay is favored this much. They're both professional teams, so I'm looking to win some money tonight. Picking Dallas to win.
What's the line?
What did you get the Cowboys at? Because it was 9.5 when the show started.
I placed it last night, so I think it had gone up like one or two times, but. I placed it last night, but I think I don't think it's a lock, but I think it's just way too one-sided, especially for a professional, team.
That's a lot.
But and one other thing I wanted to touch on is, whether it's Darrington Evans or Sargent or McNichols. At the end of the day, I don't want anybody touching it that's not named Derrick Henry. We do not need – we saw what happened when we try to, get fancy with Dion Lewis. So I think, whoever our backup is shouldn't be taking any touches away from, major touches from the King. So I'm going to hang up and listen. You guys are the best.
I'm right there with him, yeah. Not unless the King wants to, taps his helmet. That's the sign like, hey, I need a breather. Hey, everybody else, I just stay out the way. That's a specimen there, and he's special. Not only, can he wear you down, but he also has sprinter speed.
Oh, watch how many videos where he comes through the line, and there's a linebacker or a safety who is right up to him, and he outruns one or both of them for however many yards it takes to get to the end zone. They need somebody to be able to soak up a carry here or there. And Darrington Evans just offers you so much flexibility because he went to college, as a receiver. Right. He could help you in a return game, although it looks Chester Rogers on the depth chart is the punt returner and the kick returner and has a chance to be good at both of those. Evans is just a real versatile guy, real fast, matchup.
And his style is running. I hate to say it, but it's exactly what they want because he's a small version of Derrick Henry. He's a put a foot in the ground and get into the to the line and hit it. So that's what he is. He's just not, Henry is a specimen. He's a one-of-a-kind type of guy.
He is.
Man, you go look at the history, and if this kid, everybody like, oh, can he rush to, you know what? I'll be elated if he rushes for 15,000 or more to come back-to-back, even with an extra game, because that is, it stands alone to me, really, in NFL history. And I'm sure some other guys have come close to that, but
I don't think anybody's ever hit 1,500 after 2000.
Yeah,
so he does that.
Another plane.
If he does that, Blaine, he's literally done something, again, that nobody's ever done.
Wow. And to see, just think now, he had a 2-year window here where he didn't even start. He didn't even hardly play. Like that first year, Murray was the dude, and he performed. And then Henry, that second year, started rotating in with him. Then halfway through the season, started, getting more carries. So he went like a good 2 years where he wasn't even the focal point of any offense. He was Darrington Evans.
Doug Mathews. Okay. Well, he was.
Ain't that horrible to say right there?
Well, Demarco Murray was the guy.
He was.
Demarco Murray led to AFC in rushing that one year where they traded him for some used Gatorade bottles and kicking tees, and he came here and led to AFC in rushing. That dude, when he was going, he was going.
He was pretty good.
And then the King is even more like just a completely different dude, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, they brought him. They beamed him down here from somewhere.
another planet.
Yeah, it was.
He was a sophisticated cyborg who was sent back in time. So was Doug Mathews. He's one. He was sent back in time to talk to us about the Vols. Snoop Doggy Doug set to join us next on Blaine and Mickey.
Doug Mathews.
The Titans host the Arizona Cardinals to open the 2021 regular season. Coverage with Buck Rising on the Lee Company Countdown to Kickoff starts Sunday morning at 9. Then the Titans and Cardinals kick off the season at noon.
Timing, clock in your head.
On your home for Titans football, 104.5 The Zone.
All right. Lots of you out there have lots of things that you know about, right? Y'all got friends and you think, gosh, this is the friend who knows how to get tickets to everything. And this is the friend who knows how to make barbecue on the grill. This, right? Everybody knows people who know things. But do you know people who know about cars? Maybe you don't. Well, actually you do, because you know about Edmunds. I'm telling you. Let Edmunds be your friend in the car business. Let them coach you through this next car purchase or purchases that you have to make. Because, listen, you and I don't have time to test drive cars. Well, Edmunds does. They drive 500,000 miles a year. They test thousands of hours every year on hundreds of new vehicles. And maybe you like to know if you're getting a good deal. Well, when you go to Edmunds.com, you can sort all the vehicles that you're wanting to look for. You can search by special features or engine type, drivetrain, distance, price. You can do all that stuff. So you need a friend who's an expert when it comes to buying a car, and Edmunds is that friend. They're here to help you find the perfect vehicle. You can visit Edmunds.com to see all their best car rankings. Search for vehicles right near you. That's EDMUNDS.com. For cars, there's Edmunds.
You are invited to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Mint Gaming Hall all September long. One car is being awarded in drawings on each of 3 Saturdays, the 11th, 18th, and 25th. That's right, win a Jeep Renegade, a Dodge Charger, or a Dodge Challenger, provided by Rhythm Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Madison. Other great prizes, too. Earn entries daily, playing with your Mint Rewards card, and be ready to win on select Saturdays. Visit themintgaming.com for complete details. The Mint Gaming Hall, Franklin, Kentucky.
The NFL is back, literally, like back tonight, and FanDuel Sportsbook is celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Now, who doesn't want to win $200 on a $5 bet? Think about that. That's some easy money, and it's not Hail Mary. It's real simple. New customers get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager on FanDuel Sportsbook. It's the app that made sports betting simple. It's easy to use. And guess what? On FanDuel, when you win, you get paid quickly in as little as 24 hours. I'm going to be honest with you. I was checking the FanDuel app earlier. This game tonight, Bucks out to a 9.5-point favorite. I might have to go with the Cowboys to cover it. You find a bet, though, that works for you, and you make it on America's #1 sportsbook. Just when you do, sign up, use the promo code Mickey, MICKEY, and you can win, again, $200 on a $5 bet. Promo code Mickey. You must be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. New Year's is only $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. Bonus for Tennessee users filled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Restrictions apply. If you got a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
We've all heard the saying, cash is king. And in today's competitive housing market, it's even more important. Now, thanks to Accurate Mortgage, you can make an all-cash offer on your next home, even if your current one hasn't sold yet, making your offer competitive enough to stand out in the bidding process. Find out if this program is right for you. Call Accurate Mortgage today, 615-833-0456, or online at AccurateMTG.com. Accurate Mortgage Group, a division of Acopia LLC, is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 4664.
When it comes to your business IT solutions, smarter is better. Meet the authority from C-Spire. Our team of super specialized engineers partner with businesses of all sizes, taking on their toughest IT challenges while finding new opportunities. Connectivity, data security, cloud services, you name the tech, we have a specialist for it. C-Spire Business. Win with authority. Your partners in IT. Every size business deserves top-tier IT solutions. Visit cspire.com/business.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey, more Mortgage rates have taken a nosedive back to the lowest in history. Don't miss your chance to lock in a lower house payment with Loan Pronto now. Hey, it's Dawn Davenport. Call Loan Pronto like I did today and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. You can get a rate with an APR in the low 2s with no junk fees and no closing costs. Yes, they pay your closing costs. Who else does this? Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy, virtually no paperwork required, and most loans get closed in 14 days. Mine did. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Think about that little bonus. Call Loan Pronto now and start the process before rates spike again. Get your forever loan today. 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. If your current mortgage rate starts with a 3, act now. 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost option.
Don't just watch the game. Be a part of the action with WynnBET. We've got your ticket to every straight bet, parlay, teaser, and props wager, all right at your fingertips. The WynnBET app is easy to use, so play with the most trusted brand in the industry. Download the app for free on Google Play or the Apple Store today. It's time to get off the sidelines and put yourself in the game. Win with WynnBET. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee to bet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Who decided you have to be on the golf course to get a mulligan? Download the TwinSpire Sportsbook app right now and you'll unlock a good old-fashioned mulligan up to $1,000 if your opening bet misses the win column. Just use code FREE1000 and take your swing with up to a $1,000 risk-free bet at TwinSpire Sportsbook. Void where prohibited. For terms and conditions, visit twinspires.com. Offer valid for new players only. Must be 21 and over and physically present in Tennessee to bet. For help with a gambling problem, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Hey, it's Schaefer with J-Mart and Ramon. I recently had to purchase a new used car, and that's when I discovered Genesis Auto Brokers. They made the car buying experience an enjoyable one. All I had to do was tell them what type of vehicle I wanted, and with their access to dealer-only auctions, they found the right car for me and within my budget. No stress, no worry, no problem. That's Genesis Auto Brokers. They even take trade-ins and do financing. Discover your next car buying experience. GenesisAutobrokers.com. That's GenesisAutobrokers.com.
Guys, Nashville Sounds Baseball has been extended through September 26th, which means more picture-perfect nights from the patio at 3rd and Home. Known as Germantown's Bar with a Ballpark, open for lunch and dinner Wednesday through Sunday, but the food and patio experience while you catch a game is where it's at. For more information, visit thirdandhome.com.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough.
Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. Is Thursday. Time to talk to our guy, Coach Mathews. Football Saturday here on The Zone. Big Orange Sunday here on The Zone, and brought to you each week by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. You need to designate a sober game plan. If you've been drinking, don't drive. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you, fans, don't let fans drive drunk. Coach, we were talking about this yesterday. The college football season ends so quickly. There are some teams who play this, a handful, who will play their third game this weekend. That's 25% of their season. That's gone. And it's just now starting to even get a little bit cool outside.
Yeah, it's still summertime almost.
Yeah, it is.
Technically, I don't know exactly what the date is that it changes, but yeah, you know that, and that's the difference between somewhat between pro ball. The great thing, and this is what I thought this past weekend in particular, the college football took a great advantage. You know, they started Thursday,
right,
and they went through Monday, so that's 5 days. No NFL. Everybody talking about the NFL, but no games. Had it all to themselves, and
I would have to go a long way back to find as many top quality matchups as we had in those 5 days. I mean, everybody knows about Clemson and Georgia and Alabama and Miami. But, you take LSU and UCLA, there was a lot of big matchups, and Notre Dame, Florida State. Yeah. I mean, a lot of big matchups, and college football had them all. Florida State, Notre Dame. What the media outlets and the media folks when they sign these contracts, they always talk about 4 million viewer games. In other words, if they can get a game that has 4 million viewers, that's what they pay for. Notre Dame in overtime, Notre Dame, Florida State drew 8.8 million during the overtime. So they, in effect, had 2 4 million viewer games at once.
This weekend is special. The Vols are playing Pittsburgh, and you and Blaine and me were talking a couple hours ago before we went on the air, and I know Blaine wanted to ask, so let's just move into this. Just how special this game is, because this is the 2 schools that Coach Majors is known. Now, obviously, he's a Vol for life, but he sure did win a national championship at Pittsburgh. This is basically his game. It's just going to be a heck of a cool thing.
They're honoring him. Yeah.
No doubt. And I think, number one, I really commend both schools for doing this. And going forward, it's not just this game. Anytime they play, and I don't think they have another one scheduled, but they will, it's always going to be the Johnny Major Classic. I can't think of another coach that had the impact on 2 schools, 2 programs that John Majors did. Certainly Tennessee as a player first.
Right.
And then, of course, as a coach. But at Pitt, he goes in his first year there, they're 1-10 or 11, how many games they played back then. And they end up 4 years later winning the national championship. Of course, he comes back to Tennessee. And that doesn't happen very often. And he is highly thought of in Pittsburgh and highly thought of in Knoxville. And I think it's a great deal. Sadly, he won't be there. But there'll be there's a lot of majors out there and a lot of majors backers, and I don't know exactly what they're going to do pregame, but it'll be something pretty special. I think Jackie Sherrill's going to be there. Of course, Jackie Sherrill, longtime Majors coach for Coach Majors, very close all the years that they coached. We're both head football coaches, so it'll be a good night, really. And I think it'll be a good ball game. We got what appears to me to be 2 pretty evenly matched football teams coming in.
Absolutely. Coach Doug Mathews joins us here on Blaine and Mickey.
Yeah, we're on with the coach. And I guess to follow that up about, Coach Majors is what was some like, your fondest memory or game that he coached, or a statement, or just give us, take us back in time and make it feel like it's still today for all those young listeners that are listening and want to learn about, Coach Majors.
Well, at Tennessee, he was there 16 years. I was with him 10 of those years. Leaving as coordinator the last 2. I would say, not speaking for him, but probably know how he feels. Number one, Alabama was always a huge game. And for his era of playing and coaching, that was the game.
Right.
When he was playing, it was the Alabama game. When he was coaching all those years, up until the last couple when we went to division play. But even then, it was still Alabama. And I would say I think probably the 85 team for him, he had some really good teams there, had 3 conference championship teams. But that 85 group that ended up winning the Sugar Bowl, beating Miami, who was number 1 or number 2 in the country, ended up number 4 in the nation. I think that was a special team for him, because that took 7 years. He was there 7 years before finally getting to the to winning the Southeastern Conference Championship. And it took a lot of hard work, a lot of building. I was not there the first 3 years of the rebuild, but Tennessee was in bad shape athletically, very bad shape from athlete standpoint. And but from 85 on, you take from 85 to 1998 with Coach Majors and then Coach Fulmer after that. That's 13 years, and Tennessee won 5 Southeastern Conference championships in that 13-year period. They haven't won one since 1998. So special. He was a special guy, special coach, loved by most of the people that knew him. There's some misconceptions out there about him that I try to touch on every now and then. But again, it's a great honor, and I commend Danny White and Coach Fulmer had something to do with getting this. All this was being worked on in the past, and for Pitt doing it too. Jackie Sherrill coming back in, I can't think of a better person to kind of represent both.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So going from one coach to another, I know you do a coach to coach, right? But well, Josh Heupel, what was your observation of their first game at home? As you know, the crowd was loud, and just kind of take us through what your observation was offensively and defensively. As is.
Well, I was at the
first coach.
game.
Oh,
it was of course, it was a Thursday night game. There was 80,000 plus. I think they listed 84,000. Of course, when you get those numbers, as Mickey knows, that includes the referees and the players. And
No. I know something about number inflation.
if you're in that stadium, they count you. But there was a good 80,000 plus, and it was an outstanding student body. They sold 14,000, or gave them away. I don't know exactly how that works. The university pays for them some way, but they had 14,000 students. They were into it. The fans were into it. I mentioned last week on this show, Blaine, that what I personally was looking for, forget who you're playing. They were going to play a team that they were going to beat. I wanted to see a well-coached, well-disciplined football team out there that wasn't having to use timeouts because they didn't have enough men on the field, or wasn't looking over to the sideline to get a defensive play when the ball was snapped, and didn't have to use any timeouts on offense, and didn't have a lot of pre-snap or post-snap penalties, those silly penalties. There were none of those. The sideline looked extremely well organized, and from that standpoint, I would say it was a huge plus. Now, there were some areas that didn't play well, gonna have to play well, but I would say most every team that played that opening game, even Georgia and Clemson, they're both them saying, "Hey, we're going to have to play better." So Tennessee's going to have to clean up their passing game. It wasn't all the quarterback, wasn't all the receivers, but taking that one area out of it, I think every other team, every other segment of the team, position group played well.
Yeah.
And a lot of that had to do with who they was playing. But as you line up, you chase the ball, you stay in position, you make good tackles. They did all of that. And so from that standpoint, it was a plus. Now, we're going to find out this week from a talent perspective, because they're going up now against a talented team. I don't think Pitt's much more talented than Tennessee, if any. But Tennessee's going to have to play well to win this. But I think they're positioned to do that because fundamentally they look like a very, very well-coached fundamental team that first ball game.
Yes, they did. I would commend Heupel, but I think they also have a really good group of players, to come in as a first-year head coach. The cover wasn't bare. They just had to get them organized and get everybody in the right roles. And they did show discipline with all the coaches and the things that you talked about. But, man, I was surprised that they played well and they looked like a fine old machine. At least, potentially you could see the upside of where this could go.
Blaine, they had 10 what is affectionately referred to as COVID seniors that came back. In other words, 10 young men that had already graduated, that had a brand new coaching staff coming in, did not really know how they were going to fit in with that staff. They had 10 young men that came back because they wanted to play their another year at the University of Tennessee, and that's their leadership group. Matthew Butler up front's one of those. Latrell Bumpus is one. They have others on offense. So those seniors, and they I think they honored them by starting most of them, and they're going to be big cogs in this. So there's some areas where they're not as talented as you need to be to compete for the championships in this league. But from an effort standpoint, chasing the ball, speed, secondary, I thought Theo Jackson, who was one of those,
he's a local kid,
great ball game, and he plays that nickel position, and as you know, that's a tough position to play because you got to be good enough to play man coverage against a slot receiver, and also good enough to come up and make tackles in the running game. But he looked, and I thought he would play well. I did. He's a young man from right here at John Overton High School, quarterback in high school, and he had if he continues playing like that, he'll be playing next year on a day later than Saturday.
One of the things that surprised me was the running back. I knew, he was, small. You saw him a little bit last year. You saw the potential. But Evans, and it's up to debate if he's going to play. Did he have an injury, or is there something off I don't know what happened there.
Well, I don't know.
Heupel didn't answer that question, but I didn't even know that he was even injured.
I have not asked, but I think it is probably COVID related.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if he's been vaccinated or not. And if he, but the protocol is if he has been vaccinated and he has 2 or negative tests in a row, he could possibly play, but I don't know. But they got Small there. I tell you this freshman that they're really on right. They all look alike.
They do.
I mean,
they got a type.
If they didn't have a name on the back of them, you wouldn't know who they were.
Yeah.
So this is as you know, this is going to give this young freshman a chance. He'll play in this game. He'll be the second back in there, and they'll continue to run the football, I'm sure.
We're on with the coach, Doug Mathews.
Coach, before we let you go, now that you've had some time to watch what Joe Milton did, because there was a lot of talk about it, how much do you look at that and you go, okay, that's coachable, and how much you look at it and you go, that's who this guy is?
I think most of it is coachable. He held the ball a little bit too long, but one of the reasons why he held the ball too long was he had, and this is going to sound a little funny, he had too long to hold the ball.
There was nobody near
There was
him.
nobody there.
Yes.
And you learn that pretty quick. When you got guys coming off the corner like this guy sitting across from me, he gets that helmet put in that chest a few times. He'll get rid of that ball quicker, believe me. But the other thing is he and I noticed this in the scrimmages in the practice I went to. He's not a real good touch thrower, or let me rephrase that. He has not shown that yet. He had an opportunity to hit a couple of deep passes. Just quite frankly, didn't throw him too far. Now, Can that be coached? Absolutely. He could not have, I don't believe, there's maybe 3 or 4 really top quality quarterback coaches that are head football coaches. You know, one down at Ole Miss, certainly, one out at Texas A&M, one at Florida. Josh Heupel's one of those coaches, so he's got the best guy working for him. And Coach Heupel knows exactly what he wants. He has made it very plain that he is going to stick with Milton. That's his man. Now, can that change? Darn right it can change. But let's see how he does against Pitt. I think we'll see a better Joe Milton in this ball game.
Well, and before we let you go, it's funny you mentioned, like, when people start coming at him, Pittsburgh led the nation in sacks over 2019 and 2020. They had 5 in their first game. Pittsburgh knows where the quarterback is, and they always do a good job of getting after him.
And this offense is designed to get it out of your hands in about 3 seconds.
Right.
If you get the ball out of your hands in 3 seconds, and you get if those offensive line, who by the way performed pretty darn well, I thought, if they just get in the way, you're going to get that ball out of there. So he'll again, I expect him to play better, and don't know if he's the answer there or not. But if he's not, I think Coach Heupel probably got another guy or two he can go with.
Coach, thank you. We look forward to seeing Coach Major's family there and all of his friends, and I know how much he meant to you, and it's just going to be really neat to see him get honored and to see a great college football game between 2 teams that'll be pretty evenly matched. This is a great test for both teams.
Really is. I mean, you look at Pitt, from what we saw or what I saw in the early ACC. I mean, the supposedly 5 best teams they had all got beat that first weekend. So now, all that can change also. It's an old cliche, but it certainly is true. That's one game. Everybody's got 11 more of them to play. So now Tennessee's got Tennessee is the reason this game is important. They're all important, but because this will be an opportunity, Tech's next week, and then you hit that Florida, that tough step. So I believe Coach Heupel thinks this too. He needs to see exactly what he has in his quarterback, and I think this game, for the reasons you mentioned, will be it. And I expect he'll play better, and I think he'll play quicker. I think he'll get the ball out of his hands, and if he decides to run, I think he'll pull it down and make decisive up the field runs.
Well, look forward to seeing it, and look forward to talking about it all with you next week. Same time again on Thursday. Coach Doug Mathews again. Football Saturday, Big Orange Sunday here on The Zone, and these appearances always brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Blaine brought this up earlier, and it's funny. I wrote it all down yesterday. Derrick Henry's touches and how much it has exploded. These are amazing numbers, and I wrote them all down yesterday. You brought this up in the first segment. Share those next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Do I have everybody's attention now? Coming up tomorrow morning.
Miss any of today's show? Download the podcast, rate, review, and subscribe.
We know you're busy, fam. We got you.
You can also interact with us anytime on Twitter at JMart and Ramon.
We are petty on Twitter anytime and all the time.
We're JMart and Ramon.
Tomorrow morning from 6 to 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
The NFL Week 1 is here. I mean, like, it's really here. Like, it's here now. There's probably a pregame show on somewhere. Think of this as your pregame show, right? The fridge is stocked. You got the recliner ready. You got your buddies ready to come over. And how about this? Just crack open that FanDuel Sportsbook app and claim your first risk-free bet. That's right. FanDuel is going to let all customers have a risk-free bet just in time for Week 1 of the NFL season. And this game tonight is out to 9.5 points for the Bucs. I might have to lean Cowboys. It's up to you, though. You pick what bet you want to make. And if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, you can sign up today with the promo code Mickey, M-I-C-K-E-Y, and you can also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Just use the promo code Mickey when you sign up. You'll love FanDuel Sportsbook. It's easy to use. It's intuitive. The app. Go from game to game, sport to sport, and when you win, they pay you quickly. But you got to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund is $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you got a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Meet Brian Bridges. He's the owner of a tattoo shop in Nashville. Although Brian is used to getting email requests for tattoos, he was surprised when he saw one from a well-known celebrity in Los Angeles. So he turned to his American Express Business Platinum Card, which lets him earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked through AmexTravel.com. Talk about the sweet life. Built for business by American Express. This story features a fictional character from a fictional business. Terms apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/businessplatinum. Don't do business without it.
Fire up your tailgates. The NFL is back. And with the NFL returning, DraftKings is giving all customers the opportunity to participate in this year's no-brainer offer. DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to Tampa Bay plus 73 for all customers. That means you can still cash in as long as the reigning champs don't lose by 75 points against Dallas. And if you haven't tried DraftKings yet, don't miss out. DraftKings is giving new customers $200 in free bets instantly when they bet $1 or more on any football game. And all you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX. New customers bet $1 on any football game to receive $200 in free bets instantly with promo code WGFX. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee to bet. Free bet promotions for new customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Max wager limits apply. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in just 3 easy steps. 1. Get your free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with your check in as little as 30 minutes. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Selling your home can be stressful. Hey, this is Dawn Davenport. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and receive the strongest cash offer on your home. Skip the hassle. Skip all that stress. One of their clients, Charles, said this: the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate exceeded all my expectations and allowed me to avoid all the stress of selling my home. It was such a smooth process, and I highly recommend them. With over 6,000 5-star reviews, like Charles, you can trust Mark Spain Real Estate to sell your home with the strongest cash offer in the industry and close with confidence. Their guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Sell your home fast or choose when you want to move. No showings, no open houses, no stress. It's that simple. And this is what I find so impressive about them. The Wall Street Journal just ranked Mark Spain Real Estate #1 real estate team in the U.S. for closed homes for the 4th year in a row. Go to markspain.com today. That's markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and and start packing or call 855-299-SOLD.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in Nashville. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free.
One of my most vivid memories in high school is sitting in Manila, Arkansas, in a gym that was so small it didn't have benches. You just sat on the first row of the bleachers. So it's like a kid would pour his Coke on you, drop his popcorn on you in your uniform while you were sitting there on the bench.
So y'all shared the same bench.
We shared the bench. It's just the fans. And they had a guy named Keith Gray who later reinvented himself as a three-point shooter in junior college and showed up at Arkansas State. But at this point, he was like 6'3", and he was their postman. Two huge knee braces. This guy was going to play college basketball as a good three-point shooter. He was a postman at we had B schools, then A, double A, rating. This may have been a B rating school. There were 20 kids in a class. No. And they came out, and All My Love by Led Zeppelin was playing. And that dude was a captain of the basketball team, and they named the homecoming queen because they didn't have football at this school. And it was like a scene from Alien. That dude stuck his tongue so far down that girl's throat in front of the whole town that I thought the back of her head was going to come off like the movie Alien, in front of her mama and her preacher and everybody in town to that song. I cannot hear that song today without thinking of Keith Gray, the cowboy, who
Every
I got
time you hear it. Well, thanks for doing that there, buddy.
Andrew sitting in for our guy Lucas today, dropping some Zeppelin. And, I cannot hear that song to this day without thinking of my man.
Do you know what he's doing now?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I lost track of him. He had a lot of threes, though. He was a good three-point shooter. All right, here's what we promised you. Derrick Henry, because we had a caller earlier who said, and look, I respect everybody's opinion. The guy's like, hey, man, Darrington Evans is never healthy. Why don't they just cut him? Well, it's only his second year. He's a third-round draft pick. I think he was 93rd pick. He's a top 100 pick. Yeah. You invest that much capital, you'll wait a minute for a guy. So they're waiting him out. And Blaine, as you pointed out, they need other guys to get a few carries here and there. Like you said, hey, man, that was Derrick Henry for a couple of years. He was just the guy getting the other carries.
But he wasn't injured, but he was, yeah.
He was just getting the other carries that Demarco wasn't getting, or Dion Lewis, or David Fluellen for that matter.
Oh, please stop that one.
That was the thing that happened, though, in real life. So yesterday, one of these accounts on Twitter, Fantasy Pros on Twitter, because you were like, I don't remember what his touches were, but I had written this down yesterday. Yeah. This is from Fantasy Pros on Twitter. In 2016, his rookie year, do you know how many touches? This is touches, so this is catches and runs.
In his whole season?
Whole season in
his
2016.
Rookie year, I'm going to go 35.
Well, no, it was more than that. 123.
Oh, no. I didn't think he touched the ball hardly any.
He did. He actually touched it 123 times. 13 of those were catches and 110 carries. So the next year, Because
not going to
DeMarco,
What, do you know? I'm sorry. Do you know how many yards he rushed for? Is that not part of your stat?
490 yards.
His rookie year?
Yeah,
Oh,
490.
that's all surprising to me.
490 on 110 rushes.
Dang, that's more than I expected. That's the year Demarco Murray did really well. What did he rush
He led. I don't have
DeMarco
it.
Murray almost rushed for 1,500 yards that year.
Yeah, I was 14 and change. He led the AFC in rushing yards.
Oh, okay.
And Derrick Henry still got 490. If you wonder what the identity of this team is, it's run the ball. And this goes back like we have different play callers, different everything than then. So 490. Next year, 2017, only 187 touches. So he went from 123 to 187. He had 744 yards rushing.
He almost had 1,000.
Yeah, on 176 carries. So that's saving some of the tread on his tires, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, you're going to wear himself out. Well, in his first 2 years, he had 310 total touches. So this is where things start to ramp up. He started 12 games his third year. He had 1,059 yards on 215 carries.
Yeah, that was the year.
So you're like, this guy could be special. Okay, then the next year, 303 carries. He only had 310 total in his first 2 years. Year 4, 303 carries, 1,540 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns. He averaged 102.7 yards per game. Okay.
Then the staff went and looked at a whole offseason and said, you know what, I think we need to give him the ball a little bit more. So then now tell us what he did.
This is what self-scouting will do. This is what he did last year. He played 16. He started 16. 378 touches, 2,027 yards, 17 touchdowns rushing, and 19 catches, which was his most catches that he's had in the season. Yeah.
And he's still on the uptick. He's like, I'm just getting revved up.
397 total touches. Does he hit 400 this year in 17 games? 400?
Yeah, I'm betting over. I'm sounding like a better, right? I've never bet anything in my life. Yeah, over.
397
I'm
over
getting
under.
That dude the ball.
Yeah, a lot. You can hit us on Twitter. What do you think? 397 touches over under for Derrick Henry. You can hit us with that. By the way, there are some over under totals for the Titans. I'll have to check and see if he's got carries on there. I know there's yards. Maybe we can hit some of that tomorrow. But time for us to go. Time for 3HL to get in here. Don't forget, NFL football tonight, Cowboys and Buccaneers. Titans football coming up again on Sunday, home opener. But right now, time for us to go.
Yep, so have a great Thursday. And as always, Mickey, what? Peace!
Mike Keith and Coach Mac bring every Titans game to your smartphone. Hear every game. There's your answer. By downloading the 104.5 The Zone app.
Fire up your tailgates. The NFL is back. And with the NFL returning, DraftKings is giving all customers the opportunity to participate in this year's no-brainer offer. DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the spread to Tampa Bay plus 73 for all customers. That means you can still cash in as long as the reigning champs don't lose by 75 points against Dallas. And if you haven't tried DraftKings yet, don't miss out. DraftKings is giving new customers $200 in free bets instantly when they bet $1 or more on any football game. And all you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code WGFX. New customers bet $1 on any football game to receive $200 in free bets instantly with promo code WGFX. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee to bet. Free bet promotions for new customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Max wager limits apply. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.